This is the Cold Steel Kukri out of VG1 Sanmai 3 steel. It costed over 500 euros or around 500 euros. It was gifted to me like this for Christmas of 2010. And this is how it looks today. Let me share his story. I always had a fascination with blades, knives, and weapons. And I reviewed some cold steel products that are newer on this channel. The company is very different today, but when I was like 15 years old, I really fell in love with the brand and what they did then. And I really wanted this one. It was very expensive, as I mentioned, and I wanted it from my mother to Christmas. And she finally gave in and bought it for me. And I was so happy. And I cut all my food with it on the Christmas dinner. Um, but in my hands as a blade enthusiast, it didn't saw any real use. Yes, I cut down some small trees with it because whatever, and I was young. And you might wonder, okay, then why does it look like this, and where is the sheath? Because a few years later, I wanted something even more expensive for Christmas. I think it was some console or gaming PC or something. And to justify this, I gifted this back to my mother, which became a hunter in since I was gifted this, and she really used it. Uh, First to clear the way through the forest to these high seats they use for hunting, and yeah, just cut down wood, use it as a mix of versatility knife and axe, and most of the time she didn't even put it back into the sheath, and just left it like this in her truck, and yeah, in this time the sheath became lost somehow, and it, as far as I know, it was even used to process game a bit, and most of the time it was just without the sheath in the truck, or even laying around in the garden in the rain over years. To be honest, it was never really cared for, and it still works. I show you some footage where I use it. But you have to also consider, yeah, that's a really, really thin edge on this really, really thick blade. So yeah, if you hit something in the wrong angle and stuff just happens, it really can chip away. I think you can grind this out, but that's what happens. And to ad- before I forget it, to address one point I also had with the Cold Steel Master Hunter and some other of their products, is this rubber grip that's really, as far as I'm aware, they just stick this on and secure it with this hollow bolt. Yeah, you can make a bit space here by pulling this aside. As far as I see it, that's not really a problem. I don't see that there's any rust beneath this. So I think, yeah, that's a problem I mentioned with the Cold Steel Master Hunter, but I think it's not that severe when we talk about this Cold Steel product. Maybe the tang inside here is just much more thicker, and maybe it isn't a problem at all. I just made a fuss over it because I don't know. And when we look at the rust on it, I also want to talk about the sunmike construction of this, because we can clearly see that the blade steel that actually does the cutting has far more rust on it than the steel of the outer layers. So I don't know if they market this as stainless, but you should definitely be aware of this. Obviously care for your tools, but if you are a farmer, if you are a hunter, they are just exactly this. They are tools, they get used. Maybe they are on the outside. They still get used if you lose the sheath for it. Maybe it's if this is all messy, you don't want to insert it into the sheath, and because you just want to clean the blade, not the inside of the sheath. Yeah, so it gets lost. And yeah, maybe some other point I want to talk about. This can also double as a hammer, because that's like a 7 millimeter thick blade. So you could go like this and just hammer something in. That's more than possible. That's more than possible if you needed to impact something like this. Spontaneously enough, I just looked for something to do a quick sharpness test on. It's from some other product I bought. Some pull-up rack. Write me in the comments if I should review something like this, because that's not the one I sticked with, but I have another one I'm really happy with. And you see the sharpness is just, okay, now it grips a bit, but it's more like a letter opener, to be honest. But due to the form and the angle of the edge, I think it will be still good against wood and something, and we just gonna test this out. Made considerations about how cold steel develops, especially since it was sold. But I think this one is a very solid product, and if you have real use for it, I would advise getting it, because you can see this was clearly absolutely abused, and it still works. That's one thing. And if you are just a blade enthusiast, you want a modern take on like a sword, yeah, go with this. It's great. I always loved it. I think about by the way, I just remembered that I bought the scale for the channel, and product of the day weighs 654 grams, which would be 1.7.1 ounces. And from now on, I will put all my products on the scale just to show you what the weight would be if you consider this an interesting information. For example, this already appeared in one of my other videos. But do you want a video on the Cold Steel Kukri exclusively? And I even think about, obviously my mother needs this back, but I think about getting the more modern one by Cold Steel out of their newest powder steel with the cross guard. I bought myself the trainer to play a bit around with it, and because it was cheap. But I think about getting the real one. Yeah, please write me. Should I do this? Do you want a video on the Kukri Pro by Cold Steel?